Also, yesterday I uploaded that nail sneak peek and I was completely freaking wrong. Okay, so let me go into customize. Oh, it saved. I didn't even mean to save it. But so I'll just click on this nail. It doesn't really matter. So right here, I don't know why I couldn't see this yesterday. I don't know what's going on with me, but you can actually dye the nails. I did not see that. So, okay, let me get into the polish. Now the thing that's gonna come with this is, you see, it's gonna have like texture into it, so this one's kind of like a shiny matte almost. So it's really going to depend on what polish you have on. Let me put on this one. This one dyes. I don't like the way this one dyes at all. Oh my gosh, why does it keep doing that? But you see, this one has like a super weird lacquer over it. So I'm guessing because we can dye it, even when you go into Starlight, it doesn't get that dark. But again, I'm guessing that all of these polishes are going to have different coatings on them. It's really going to affect how the color works. Let me just take all that off. My goodness. So it's really going to affect how all the colors appear on the nail. And then of course you can dye the patterns too. I legit am just crazy. I literally don't know why I could not see that yesterday. You can also dye the stickers. Those are dyeable. And then of course, let me plop a charm on a bow, you know, whatever. So you can dye everything. I don't know. Again, I'm sorry, but here I'm just telling you right now, you can dye it. Whew. Okay, with that out of the way, on to the actual main purpose of this video. Hey, hi everyone, it's Nathara, and I know I'm very late on this. There's only one day left on it, but today I'm going to be going over the Nebula Ocean Scene Pack. Just a quick reminder, you only get what's listed in the pack contents right here. You do not get the display outfit. So today I'm going to be going over the Chat Bubble Starlight Hairpin, the Still Pose Luminous Leap. She's pretty cute, full body pose. Of course, the Scene Nebula Ocean and the Dynamic Pose Cloud Spin Dance. Lots of movement in that one, but from the display you can tell that there's not much to the scene itself, so I hope everyone else realized that. You really do only have this tiny little island and the door and the flowers. So for our outfit, we have the Vitrum Talk hair, the Cinema Roll dress, the Blaze Splendor coat, the Petal Dream socks, the Dream Adventure shoes, the Ocean Nebula hat, the Dream Adventure hairpiece, the Stellar Fantasy earrings, the Dream Adventure necklace, the Snowclad Butterfly bracelets, and that's everything. I did save it to my fashion diary if you wanted to come check it out. I didn't really want to recreate the dye scheme, so I just did my own thing. It's a pretty cute outfit, but again, it's full of limited pieces that they like to tease you with to make you, you know, want to pull on those banners whenever they come around. Now here is our scene as a whole. So it is just a circular water plate with a little ring of like pictures around it to give you some distance. There's an aurora in the sky, and then there is this sky pattern full of little stars, which I really quite like. But again, the only thing in this scene really that you can pose with is going to be this little island and the flowers and the mist right here. I will check to see if we can reach that boat here in a second, but what's good about this scene immediately that I noticed was if you were not able to get, let me sort this by latest, if you were not able to get this decom scene Boundless Nebula for a space scene, then this is actually a pretty good alternative. As you saw on my home screen, I was able to use it quite well for that. So again, I said you can only pose with this, but you can also use it clearly as a space scene because the sky, they put a lot of stuff in it and it looks pretty good, and I do like the colors and everything. The water is a little odd to look at, but honestly it's gonna be fine in photos. It's just like videos where you're like, wow, that water looks weird, but you know, when it's still in a photo it's gonna look fine. I like the rolling clouds that come through. There is butterflies like floating about the, oh gosh, what happened? that's floating about. The plants right here, some of these plants look like the ones that we can get in home mode. You might be able to recreate this scene in home mode actually. It isn't like all that complicated. I think we could just create most of this, especially with the new landscape feature. And starting at the top left corner, here is your posable area. It is larger than I thought it would be, but I mean, that's just because you know, there's really not too much going on, but I am happy that it is so big. That way you can rotate the camera, and if you don't want this island in your view, you can just move it out of the way. And good news, you can actually reach that little boat back there. I'll bring our doll back there in a second to see how scaled it is for the actual doll, because you know, it might be really tiny to make it look like it's really far away. So I will check that in a couple seconds after I make this full round. Sorry, I'm just trying to yap until this like connects, you know. I do have a full grown adult doll. I don't have one of the girl models out right now, and here she is compared to the boat. Also, there's no sink in this scene. My doll is floating in a posture, bottom of the hoof. It's very close, so it's just you can't even get into the boat unless you were able to use a dynamic pose. Maybe, I don't know, not even like the skater girl pose will put you that far down. Plus the boat's just really small, so it's not really feasible to pose with. And here is a lighting comparison with a bunch of different clothes and materials so that you can see how they react on hair and materials and metals and all that stuff compared to what it looks like in the default blue scene. Here is the lighting from the front, from the right, from the back, and the left, in case you were curious about how you might be able to move the camera around and what angles you'll be able to find the most usable whenever taking photos. And here's the lighting on the darkest shade. I think she looks pretty good. You can see the blue light. There is a blue light that comes in through the left in this scene. It's not as harsh as some of the other scenes. Let me pull in my mid-tone doll just in case though, because I feel like it shows up on her way more than it shows up on the end of the spectrum lines. Okay, no, it doesn't look like it, but you know, she does look more golden right now than normal. I think, let me see. Yeah, just a bit, right? It definitely adds some saturation that I could not see on the pale and the dark doll. So there will be that. And here is our pose Luminous Leap without all the fancy clothes on, so you can see what it looks like. Pretty cute, pretty standard. So behind the back could be good. A little handheld. Oh, you can't use the bow with that. Odd. And where's our heart? There she is. Pretty cute. Her butt looks like it sticks out a lot farther than normal though, right? Because I know my doll's butt's not that big. And now our dynamic pose without the dynamic camera on, so you can see the movements without the fancy clothes and the camera highlighting it all. Pretty dancerly, some little tippy toes, some nice spins. Oh, I like this pose actually, like the very starting pose. That's pretty good. And this one's pretty cute too. I like this little pose right here. Let me scoot in on her face. It could almost look like she's praying. Or if you know, if you're going for a story and you need her to look worried or something, you can put on a scared pose or a scared expression, sorry. Yeah, this scene's lighting is really good for skin. She looks amazing, her skin does. Oh, that's cute though. That's adorable. That's pretty dramatic though. We don't have anything like that either. That's actually pretty good. And this little bit right here, again, I'd probably change out the facial expression, but I do like how the hands are crossed over the chest. We have another one of these hands cupping into the head. And the last pose is pretty good, especially whenever the new update comes out. Whenever they decide to give it to global, you'll be able to show off your fancy fingernails. And here's our expression for Luminous Leap. It is just an open mouth smile. Happy we can see some teeth. And the expression for Cloud Spin Dance. Nothing in the beginning because she's behind the door. It looked like she almost rolled her eyes right then. Did you see that? A lot of eye movement. Come on, girl, move your mouth. It'd be way more useful if you used your mouth. I don't think she's gonna. Well, that's disappointing. I mean, let me start it over. Blank stare. And then we go to this one. And then we close, and then right here the mouth doesn't move again. Well, that could have been better. I did forget to mention the height that you can go. I wish we could go up a little bit higher because it would give us more access to some of the space without having to angle the camera super weirdly to try and cut out the ocean part down here. You see what I'm saying? But now I'm just going to click through the filters so you can see how you might be able to change the ambiance of this scene. Make it day, make it night, make it more alien, make it more dreamy, all that good stuff. For our retouch settings, here's our vignettes. I quite like that because it does leave that center doorway really bright. It makes it a little bit more mystical. For our halo, I'm assuming that door is going to be bonkers. Let's see if we can get any glitter. Sorta, with the little butterflies. DOF is gonna DOF. Our white balance. That's gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's really pretty too, but again, it's gonna really affect the doll, so that's unfortunate. Ooh, I like this too. Wow. Sorry, I'm amazed by that. I wouldn't go down. I would definitely go up though. Like, this is really nice, just going all the way up by itself. And our saturation. And our contrast. I kind of like it with more of the green tones like this. I think that's really pretty. Now, when you're posing on the other side of the door, you do get this weird, like film over you. So you can't like be on the other side and be poking through, you know, or like peeking through. You're not going to be able to see your outfit. But I have seen pictures where people are posing on top of the door, like they are sitting on it and gazing up at these stars. I think that's really pretty. Other spots, definitely just going to be in the grass, gazing out at the sky, you know, there's not too many things. You can definitely be on the stoop right there and looking out like you're curious. Again, the scene, there's just not much to it, and because it is so fanciful, it is not that versatile. It's a very pretty scene, again, but there's just not much to it. But it is great for the sky if you really want a very pretty sky background. Plus the aurora is always moving. It's not like stagnant like how these clouds are in the back. You see how still those are? They just don't look that good. The aurora wiggles at least, so it looks pretty good. I do like the rolling clouds. There is like little specks all over to add that dreaminess. I like the petals on top of the water. I just wish we could sink down a little bit more. I would love to be able to have a mermaid fit in here and have her sunk down in the water, but that's just not possible. Let me see. I think I ran into it earlier. There is a glow spot on top of the door because I was trying to pose up there on my home screen, but I couldn't because my doll was glowing, and of course now I can't get her to do it, but I swear it's here. All right, I found it. It is right here. It just took me a while, but I did find it. So she does glow a little bit. It's way harsher on my mid-tone doll. Let me bring her in to show you. So here it is on my mid-tone doll. Again, it just is way brighter on her for some reason. I don't know if the pale doll can just take being lit up like that more easily than my darker doll. But yeah, it's just really bright on my mid-tone. So there they are. I tried to get them close together. They're both lit up right now. I think maybe I just wasn't in far enough spot, but yeah, they're both glowing. So there is a spot there if you're trying to pose inside the door. It is going to get your doll and probably ruin your fit unless you're trying to incorporate this light factor into your fit. And another thing, like most of the scenes, you know, whenever you are just moving in general, different light will be hitting you. My doll's getting really dark right there for some reason, versus right here where there's more light on her. And then you go back and like she just stays dark. And again, if you're back there, you're gonna be fighting that weird like 3D object light wall with your outfits. So even from the back side of the door, you cannot look through it. I was kind of hoping to be able to have a side angle shot to use the door as kind of like a mask into another world, but this like 3D wall right here, the light wall, really does inhibit the use of doing that easily. It'd be better if this light wall just wasn't here, or at least we could just see our dolls through it. It just casted a soft glow. It wasn't like, you know, all I can see is my doll's hair and eyelashes. That's so weird a little bit. So it's hard to pose with. But again, you can pose around the door, on top of the door, on the island, in the sand and all that good stuff. But overall, the scene isn't too usable, like I said, unless you are super into fantasy and dreamscapes and everything, and of course, the sky. The sky is really great for those of you who are not able to get that decom background, Boundless Nebula. And here's our tappable Starlight Hairpin. It's kind of weird. It is a empty face with some hair around it. It's definitely not for me. It might be for someone somewhere. If it is for you, let me know though, and why you like it so much, you know? It's very unique. But that's all I have on the Nebula Ocean Scene Pack. I hope you found this helpful and useful in deciding if you would like to add it to your collection or not. And if you've already got it, let me know if our thoughts are similar on it. How versatile do you think it is? Have you already used it a lot? Think you're not going to be able to use it all that much? Again, I've got mine set on the sky right now. I think that's how I'm mostly going to be able to be using it. But you know, everyone's different. But I am curious, so let me know. But that is all I have, so I will talk to you guys later. Bye bye.